Hello students, welcome back to section 10. In this section we are going to use Cramer's rule in order to solve linear equation in two variables. Now we are going to pick a random equation. Let's say I have 2x plus 5y is equals to 19 and I have 3x minus y is equals to 3. So this is my equation number 1. This is my equation number 2. Now, in order to solve this, I need to first make sure I get all of my values correct. So this is a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2. I can write this as 1y as well. So my a1 value is 2, a2 value is 3, b1 value is 5 and c1 value is 19. My b2 value is minus 1, my c2 value is 3. Now once we have done this, as we learned in the earlier class, that x is equals to dx divided by d and y is equals to dy divided by d. So now we need to find dx and d. As we know from determinant formula, this is a, b, c and d. This is calculated as AD minus BC. So now, first we are going to find the value of capital D. Now capital D, as we know, we are going to enter this column of values and we are going to enter this column of values. So I want 2 and 3 and I want 5 and minus 1. So this is A1, A2, B1, B2. This is equals to, entering the values, this is 2, 3, B1 is 5, B2 is minus 1. This implies D is equals to 2 times minus 1 minus 5 into 3. This is equals to minus 2 minus 15, which is equals to minus 17. So my value for D becomes minus 17. Now, coming back to dx. Now in order to calculate dx, we have to make sure we eliminate the a1, a2 column. And once we eliminate the a1, a2 column, let's pay attention here. I want to remove this, and once this is removed, this becomes empty. So this empty column is filled by c1 and c2. So my c1 comes here, my c2 comes here, because I removed a1 and a2, and now b1 and b2 stays as it is. So now dx is equals to, just picking the values from the question, I have c1 19, c2 3, the value of b1 is 5, value of b2 is minus 1. This becomes 19 times minus 1 minus 5 into 3, which is equals to minus 19 minus 15, which is equals to minus 34. So my value for dx is minus 34. Now, the last value is dy, similar to dy. Now, when we are trying to find dy, we need to make sure we eliminate the y variable completely. So this variable is eliminated. Once this is eliminated, we are left with a1, c1, c2. This is a1, a2, c1, c2. So this becomes a1 is 2, a2 is 3, c1 is 19 and c2 is 3. So now this comes out as 2 times 3 minus 19 into 3, which is equals to 6 minus 57, which is equals to minus 51. Now I have my values for dx, which is this, dy, which is this, and capital D, which is this. All you have to do is substitute the values inside. Now dx is minus 34, so this is minus 34 divided by d is minus 17, this is minus 17, This minus minus cancels. 17 ones are 17, 17 twos are 34. So I am left with x is equals to 2. Similarly for dy, I have minus 51 divided by minus 17. Minus minus again cancels. 17 ones are 17, 17 twos are 34, and 17 threes are 51. So I have here 3. So the value for x is 2 and the value for y is 3. This is how we solve linear equation in 2 variables using Cramer's rule. Make sure you go slow, you understand well. The only mistake that you can make is when you when you try to write down formulas for capital D, dx and dy. Rest of all is easy as long as you remember this. We need to focus on remembering the values here inside the determinants. Now we're going to revise this once again before we try a question from the textbook, so that we find an easier way to remember these terms for d, dx, dy. Now, beginning question from the textbook. Let's go to page number 14. We have example number 1, which is 5x plus 3y minus 11 and 2x plus 4y minus 10. So I have 5x plus 3y is equals to minus 11, and I have 2x plus 4y is equals to minus 10. This is from textbook, page number 14, example number 1. Now, as I said earlier, first we need to write down what information do we have. So this is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So we're going to write down what the values are. A1 is 5, A2 is 2, B1 is 3, B2 is 4, C1 is minus 11 and C2 is minus 10. Now one thing we need to pay attention to is that the values for C1 and C2 exist on the right hand side of the equation. If, for example, this equation would have been this way, 5x plus 3y minus 11 is equals to 0, we need to move this constant to the right hand side, which is 5x plus 3y is equals to 11, in which case the value for C1 becomes plus 11. You might have some questions in which the C constant value is on the left hand side, or you might have two constant values. Make sure you take all the constant values to the right hand side and then write down the value for C1 and C2. Now again, first we need to calculate the value for D. So for D, I am going to hide this and I am going to use the coefficients from A1 and A1 into B1, B2. I need to hide the values for C1 and C2. So this is A1, A2, B1, B2, which is equals to 5, 2, 3, 4. Using the determinant method, I can get D is equals to 5 times 4 minus 2 times 3, which implies D is equals to 20 minus 6, which is equals to plus 14. So now I have my D value as plus 14. Now for dx, what we do, as we have learned in linear equations, In order to find x, I need to, in this case, hide this complete section, and then C1, C2 replaces this particular area. So now once A1, A2 is gone, so I have A1, A2, B1, B2. In order to find dx, as we know this is not dx, this is d. In order to find dx, I have C1, C2 over here. So A1, A2 has to be eliminated, and this C1, C2 moves in place over here. So this is C1, this is C2, and then C2 is replaced. So now this is equals to, the value of C1 is minus 11, value of B1 is 3, C2 is minus 10, and B2 is plus 4. Now calculating this value, I have dx is equals to minus 11 into 4 minus of, now this is very important, this is AD minus BC, this minus sign is not changed. Now I have the value here as minus 10, this is minus 10 into plus 3. So now this becomes minus 44, minus minus as we know is plus, this becomes plus 30. So now the value of dx comes as minus 44 plus 30 is minus 14. This is very important. A lot of you students do make mistakes in writing this value down. This minus and this minus are not same. They are two different negative signs. We need to account for both the negative signs. Now coming back to dy. In case of dy, what we do is we hide the y coefficients, and now as I have hidden this coefficients, C1, C2 replaces those over there. So A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 is outside the determinant. Now we need to eliminate this. So as this goes out, C1, C2 replaces inside. This is C1, this is C2. Which is equals to, value of A1 is 5, A2 is 2, C1 is minus 11, C2 is minus 10. This comes as dy is equals to 5 into minus 10 minus 2 into minus 11. So now I have 5 into minus 10 and minus 2 into minus 11. This is minus 50, this is plus 22, minus minus is plus. So now my dy value becomes minus 50 plus 22, which is minus 28. Now using these formulas, I have x is equals to dx divided by d, which is equals to, my dx value is minus 14 divided by my d value is plus 14. So this becomes minus 1. My y value is dy divided by d. So my dy value is minus 28 and my d value is 14. So this is minus 2. So x comma y here are minus 1 comma minus 2. Now once you have understood this, we have some few problems which you need to solve as extra work. Make sure you practice 2 or 3 problems, and then we'll move to our practice set 1.3 in the next section. So these are your three solutions, three questions for practice. Make sure you practice them. If you have any doubts, just message on the WhatsApp group and you will get your help for the required equations. Thank you. That will be all for this section.